Hello and welcome to another episode 5, I believe, if I can do my maths correctly, of Miller's Musings. And that's just a stupid title I've given to this. Miller's Musings is basically my equivalent of a vlog series where we just talk about things that may be affecting you in your life or at work or in your relationships or with money or whatever. Move this a bit closer. Because basically, I mean, just as a quick introduction, a lot of people, that very nicely get in touch with me and they say that they think I have a very positive attitude through my videos and things like that. So I thought, well, that's lovely to hear, but what can I actually do to filter that to something more specific? Because I always say, I know my platform's like massive, but I have somewhat of a platform. So if I can give anything back, I would like to try and give something back. So we talked about mental health a lot and anxiety and try and have a positive mental attitude and all this kind of stuff. But I think something like you can feel that way and you can feel good. However, deep down inside yourself, you may not actually feel that good. And I think that you can see the title of this video is, I'm not, I'm not okay. I kind of, I think last week or the week before we said like the three most powerful or positive words are like I love you and I can't remember what's the other three. I can help or something like that. I don't remember, but I think that the problem's not the right word, but I like issues. No negative words here. The issue with not being okay, or at least coming to the point where you can say to yourself, I don't feel okay. I'm not okay. Is that then a certain negative vibe or a negative connotation comes along with that? And I think this is where we kind of get into. And again, I know everyone always says this. No, I'm not a medical professional. This is my opinion, based on my own experiences and experiences in my life. But I think sometimes the problem with not being okay is that we decide that not being okay. It's going to sound like a thing here, but is not okay because that's how it makes you feel, right? It's filled with negativity and sadness, and you don't feel good. However, that I think is where the trapdoor is. When you say to yourself that you're not okay or you don't feel okay, that then comes along with you saying to yourself, and that's a bad thing, and I shouldn't feel this way. And then you start to fight your own emotions. And I think that's where, you can slip down a slope because, it's the same with anything. If you steal something and you know you've done something wrong, you're going to feel guilty, you're going to feel remorse, and that leads you to a certain place. If you're not feeling great and you feel bad and guilty that you're not feeling great, it's going to lead you to a negative and a bad place. And of course that does make sense because ultimately we'd all love to feel okay 100% of the time or happy or because of course we would. We're human beings. But unfortunately, because we are human beings, we are creatures of habit, we're creatures of routine, we're creatures of how other people respond to us. So there is no way to control how you feel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it's sometimes it's out of your control. You may wake up on a Monday morning and feel great and walk to work and someone says something you don't like and it just ekes away. You said it all the time. Like I could say John, no one called John, but say John walks in here now and I say 99 amazing things to John. John, you're amazing. You're a brilliant person. And blah, blah, blah. But then one I go, but I don't like your shoes. I bet you any money that John walks away going, mother doesn't like my shoes. Which I get, because that's how we work. That's how we work. That's how we are as human beings. So when we do get knocked and we do feel bad and we come home and we eat junk food or we laze around or we lose motivation, what we really should do in those situations is just accept it as another feeling. Like when you're happy, I mean, some people do question happiness. When you're happy, most people will try and ride that wave for as long as they can. However, when you're feeling sad or you're not okay, which obviously is not as fun, you then start beating yourself up about it and you start saying to yourself, well, I shouldn't feel this way. It's bad I feel this way. What can I do to stop feeling this way? And all these emotions come along with it, and then before you know it, you're in a rut. And you can't pull yourself back out. And again, it's perfectly normal and natural to both feel sad, but also to beat yourself up for feeling sad because you don't want to, right? So it's an emotional response. If someone tries to punch you, you don't want to be punched, so you try and block it. And this is your way of trying to block the sadness or whatever it is that you're getting upset about. But unfortunately, that does make it worse. Or at least in my experience, I find that it makes it worse. But on the other side of it is almost as scary because then trying to climb up that ladder to get out of the negative place is really, really hard because it could be one of a million things. And sometimes you feel like you can't control that. Where actually, I know we said, you can't control your emotions, but you can control your sadness in the sense of you just accept the fact that you feel sad. Like acceptance, man, that's what we're talking about now. Acceptance is the most important thing in the world. I think with most things in life, when there's a change or something comes and it upends your routine and what you expected, we do go through a grieving process, right? We go through a mourning process. Now that happens when people pass away, but that's expected. But it's not so openly talked about when it's not related to that. But it's the same thing, and with all those things, you do get a certain amount of acceptance with time. It's the worst thing in the world, right? Time is a healer. Screw that. Time takes too much time. Like, I want it now. But I think that's the thing. I think acceptance is the key. And it's the same with this, right? If you just accept that this is how I feel right now, and I'm going to ride it, and I'm going to, assess my feelings as much as I can, and I'm going to tap into why this is happening or what it means, you'll actually grow as a person. I think you'll actually start to feel better. However, getting to that point is so hard and so difficult. I'm not surprised. I guess a lot of us struggle to get there, and we find solace in friends and families, and hopefully talking about this kind of stuff like we're doing now, and sharing these sorts of feelings will help. But ultimately, you're always going to get those times when you're by yourself again, and that's when the real challenge is ahead. Especially because sometimes you feel like you don't want to be a burden to people as well. You feel like, well, I went on about this for months and months and months and weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't want to talk about it anymore. My friends are bored of me. But I don't think that's true. Like, I would be happy for a friend of mine to go on. I mean, there may be a certain point. I may be like, dude, you need to, for their own sake, like you need to you just snap out of this. But I don't think you should ever do that. I don't think you should ever not talk about this stuff. In fact, I think that's the most important thing you can do. I don't think as a species to go all out there, we talk about this stuff enough at all. Obviously, it's better in 2018. But as we've said before, I know loads of people that won't talk about any of this. They don't want to open up about their feelings because it's seen as weak, or it's seen as, I don't know, I guess taboo. Which I get to a certain extent because, even before I started doing this series, like, can I do this? Is it going to make me weird? Are people going to look down on me? Are people going to judge me? That's why I did it. I was like, okay, that's why you should do it, because you're actively trying to fight yourself there, which probably means there's some fear in it and there's some uncomfortability in it. But usually in the darkness and the fear and the uncomfortability, this is where you actually find something positive, or at least something unique, or at least something that maybe I needed to do, and hopefully other people can get something back out of that as well. But I think life as a whole, I'm not going to go into specifics here, but it is like, it's not easy. Again, you see celebrities who you think they got everything in the world, but they're not happy. We've seen that with some of the suicides we saw last year, which were genuinely horrific and genuinely shocking. But it goes to show that everybody is finding life hard. A good friend of mine said to me the other day, I think to be absolutely 100% happy all the time, you have to be basically really stupid. And I kind of understand where he's coming from, because anyone with I don't say with a certain amount of intelligence. I'm not saying stupid people can't be happy or sad. I don't mean that. But what I'm saying is, let me rephrase that. Not stupid people. You'd have to be literally like, just away with the fairies. You'd have to be completely just not aware of everything that was going on around you. I think that was his point. I don't mean on an intelligent or IQ level. But I think that's the thing that I think a lot of us need to accept, is that unfortunately, not unfortunate necessarily, because it's a journey, right? It's a story. But yeah, life is really hard, and you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. That's as exciting as it can be terrifying, depending on on your perspective and how you look at it. But I think, again, accepting that you're not going to be okay every day, and sometimes just sitting down and taking a moment for yourself and actually saying out loud, you know what, I don't actually feel okay right now. Maybe tell a friend or tell a family member or give somebody a call. I should probably put this more when we talk about this, but obviously in the Samaritans, and there's loads of other lines like that you can call, and somebody will just talk to you for a while. They won't judge you. They won't, there's nothing like that. You can just talk, and you can say whatever you want. You can say, I get scared by ducks, and they'll be like, oh, let's talk about it. Or, you can go get professional help as well, obviously. There's loads of good services like that too. But I think, as I always say, I think the thing I really want to stress and get across to everybody watching this, because I get a lot of sort of tweets and messages about this, is that a lot of people feel like they're on their own, and they feel like they just don't have the coping mechanisms to get through each and every day, and they can't understand why other people do. But the trick is that they're not. They're just, I don't know if you're hiding it or not, but they're hiding it as well. And it's the same for everybody out there, which again is another reason why I wanted to start doing these, to say I'm the same. I'm in that boat. I count as everyone. Everyone counts as everyone. Because it's just, how can you be? Let's say that you're worried about money. Money's your big problem, and tomorrow you win the lottery. Okay, so now money you can cross off. That's awesome. There's going to be something else. Because there's always something else. And something that I've certainly learned recently as well is, we all have these dangling carrots, or these goals or these ambitions that we want to achieve. That's really important, I think, because you want to challenge yourself and push yourself. However, happiness basically comes from within, and we've all heard that before. That's nothing new, and it's a really hard thing to find, but it is true. And essentially, all those things that you may be aiming for, or that you may decide is where the answer lies, actually, it's not true. And again, you should definitely go after that stuff, because the pursuit of especially passionate things is important. But ultimately, it is the smaller things that are going to bring you inner peace and are going to bring you happiness. And sometimes you can lose them too, and that's going to knock you as well. But I think getting into that mindset of actually everything I need is right here. And I understand you can throw that back at me and go, that's not true, Miller. I'm broke. I've got no job. I'm in and out of relationships or whatever. But that could always be the case. And while those things will help, I think ultimately, again, looking inwards and trying to find out, or trying to find sort of the balance of who you are as a person, and kind of what, emotionally you need to, because money, obviously, we're talking about money, something that's really good to focus on, because money, obviously, we need money to live, otherwise we will die. However, like I say, you can be a millionaire, and if you haven't sort of tapped into that thing inside of you and found that balance within yourself, again, you'll be less stressed maybe, because you have to go about money, but you won't necessarily be happy. And I'm talking about happiness and peace, essentially, which makes me sound well hippie trippy, but it's true. That is what I've kind of learned, especially over this year, is that inner peace and inner happiness, and just focusing on small things is actually what it's all about. And I think if we could all embrace that a bit more, I think maybe we would all be a little bit happier. Again, doesn't mean you shouldn't chase your dreams or anything like that. I'm the biggest advocate for that in the world. I think it makes people who they are. But I think sometimes taking your foot off the gas and not getting carried away, and just having a bit of internal dialogue is really important, or an internal monologue, whichever one. You can talk to yourself, or you can talk within. So basically, it's okay not to be okay. It's the point of this one. I'll leave it there, as we've got to my just over 10 minutes, but my fabled 10-minute mark. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. Leave a comment. If you think this can help anyone, share. And ultimately, I don't like these cheesy lines, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I think sometimes saying a cheesy line helps. Make sure you take care of yourself, and while you're at it, why not take care of someone else as well? Because having someone to lean on and vice versa is actually, again, quite a nice thing, and you may make somebody's day. I'll see you next week.